Everybody, it's Coach Ross of Coach Ross Football. This is now episode 16 of Back to the Basics in the air raid offense. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about the tags that we use in the offense. We're switching it up a little bit, so stay tuned. All right, so welcome back, everybody, to the new video. I apologize that it's been so long since I posted a video. It's been pretty crazy, pretty hectic in the household here. A lot of traveling in the summer. And summer football is getting started. I know I made a promise to get this series finished up by the time you all start your fall season. That's still the goal. As you can see, we are counting down the videos here. We probably got maybe four videos left after this one. Switching up here a little bit. Going to talk about tags and how to use tags and what they are in the offense for this episode here. Also, got to mention too that the channel is going to be going under some construction here soon, mainly with logo, new name. So once the new name gets out there, I will let you know as well. It's just going to change it up a little bit. So it'll still be me. It'll just be going under a new name here. See the channel is growing a little bit here, which is great. Again, if you are new to the channel, welcome. I appreciate that we're talking about the air raid offense here a lot. Mainly it's an offensive football coaching channel. Talk about anything and everything we can about the air raid offense. Again, it's my passion as far as the offensive scheme. However, more than happy to talk about any kind of offensive football. We can talk football in general, as talking about defensive schemes, special teams, anything, but mainly it's focused in on the spread offense and mainly essentially the air raid offense, because the air raid offense is, in my opinion, probably one of the easiest systems to install and apply and use and execute anywhere from youth, middle school, even high school, and obviously college. We've seen the success it has in college. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy this content. If you do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, help the channel grow. Also, on top of that, make sure you give this video a like if you like this one. Also, the other episodes in this series are linked in the description. Go check them out. And without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, everybody, it is now episode 16, the Back to the Basics series. I appreciate y'all stopping by to check this video out. A few announcements before we get into the video here. The channel itself is going to be going into some construction. So talking about a logo change, a name change to the channel. So when that all happens and when it's finalized, I will let you know. It'll still be me, just be a different name, different logo. Secondly, I apologize for this video being so delayed. I know I made a promise and a pledge to get the series completed before fall football starts, and that's still my goal. As you can see, we have about 4 or 5 videos left after this one, so that is still my goal. I'm going to try and get 2 videos out this week, so hopefully I can get that out. It has been crazy here with traveling in the summer, as well as summer football starting 7-on-7, things like that. So I've been extremely busy. So I'm gonna try and pump out 2 videos this week. So we're gonna get into that here in just a second. Next, if you are new to the channel, I can see the channel is growing. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Also, if you like this video, give it a like button, hit that thumbs up button. And if you like any of the other content, obviously give it a thumbs up, please. It helps the videos get seen, helps these reach out to other coaches who may need help, who want to learn, because that's what this channel is all about, is helping coaches learn the system, learn about the spread offense, and trying to network with as many coaches as we possibly can. So get the word out, share this video, spread it around. Also, if you have not seen the other episodes, they are linked in the description, so go check them out. But definitely please subscribe if you have not already, because that'll let you know whenever I drop new content. I'm trying to drop as much as I can. Like I said, busy in the summer here with football starting for us here in North Carolina. But I did make a pledge, like I said, to get this video out, or get this series out, excuse me, and have it finished before fall camp start. And so that is still my goal, like I said. So in this video, this is, like I said, episode 16. We are going to be talking about tags in the offense and how to use. So we are kind of switching up, from the plays. We are going to talk about, like I said, the tags and what they are, how you use them, how you call them, because that was a huge thing with me when I first started down this journey is what are tags? How do I call them? What do I do with them? So I'm going to try and break that down based on my opinion and my experience in them. So we're going to jump right into the tag video right now. All right, so first slide here is what is a tag? Because that's what I always wanted when I came down this air raid journey here. I wondered, what is a tag? I heard the word tag being used a lot. What is it? So again, this is not a science. This is based on my opinion, my experience. So I very well may be wrong, according to other coaches. This is how my take on it. So if you want to listen to my point of view, that's fine. If you're not, make your own point of view, that you're more than welcome, obviously more than welcome to do that, but this is just my take on it. So a tag is a call or a change to a play designed to take advantage of a weakness in the defense based on how they're defending concepts in the passing game, running schemes, and even the screen game. Yes, I've used tags in the screen game as well. All right, so it's just a change to the play. Essentially, when you change a play, you've created a new play, so you need to be very careful. I think I talk about that right here. Tags do create a new play, so be careful how many you institute in the offense. More to remember requires more time at practice, which equates to less time repping your base offense, which then means poor execution. Again, remember this offense is based on execution. Yeah, that is a belief by me. Okay. The air raid offense especially is based on simplification. All right. How simple can you be? Because the more simple you can be, the better execution you can create. That is the whole philosophy behind this offense. It's not a playbook that makes this offense successful. It's the execution of that playbook. All right. Because it's a smaller playbook, less concepts, less running schemes, less screen game, more for or less for the players to remember and practice. So therefore, what that equates to is more repetition in practice. All right. The better repetition, the more repetitions you get, the better you can execute those particular concepts, schemes, whatever it might be in the game. That's the whole belief behind this offense. So that's why, in my opinion, you need to be very, very careful when it comes to adding tags into your offense, because again, that does create a new play, in my opinion. And with a new play becomes just one more thing for a certain player or players to remember. And then that limits the amount of execution, because again, you have to practice all this stuff. You have to practice the signals and then how to get these tags in. Then you have to practice the execution of it based on a certain look you might get from a defense. So it all is relative. It's all connected. So you need to be really, really careful on how many you do create. And that's my belief. You need to be simple with the tags as well. Keep it simple as best you can. Try, especially when you're starting this off, try not to add too many in. So that you can essentially still execute at a high level in game, because you want to, again, this offense is based on repetitions. It's based on execution, not based on any particular playbook, not based on X's and O's. It's based on execution. That's how this offense is successful. Tags are meant to change essentially one thing about the play. All right. Receiver's route, a running back stays in for pass pro or swing route, change in the particular block or pass pro for the line, if you know else. Yeah. So you can tag essentially almost anything you want. Right? You can change essentially anything you want, excuse me, in a play. Mainly for me, I use this just to change receivers' routes. Okay, if I saw something in a defense, I changed that particular receiver's route, or I even changed that entire concept on that one side, just based on what I could take advantage of. That's typically how I use the tags. But you can use them to tell the running back to stay in for pass pro if your offensive line is struggling, or if you see something coming. If you're one side of your line is struggling with their defensive line, you can tag a half slide, or you can tag particular schemes to that one side of that offensive line as far as pass pro. So there are a bunch of different things you can do with tags, but again, like I said, be careful how many you add in, because again, when you're adding to this, when you make these tags, when you use these tags, you are essentially creating a new play. So then all of a sudden you see that playbook, it starts with 11 plays. All of a sudden now it's jumped to 25 and then 35. And then, it keeps expanding because the more tags you add, the playbook gets larger and larger and larger. And that is less time in practice that you can use executing these particular concepts, tags, whatever it might be. So just be very, very careful when you're using these tags. All right, so jumping into the next portion of this, again, like I said, a lot of this is going to be a little bit repetitive here. So try to limit the amount of tags you create. Tags essentially create a new play. Remember, a small playbook with less for the athletes to remember generates better execution. I cannot emphasize that enough. Okay. This offense is based on execution, not playbooks, not, scheming something up in the dirt. It's about execution. A suggestion would be, and this is just my suggestion, would be to designate 3 route tags for each receiver. This is what I did, okay, including the running back. So, like I said, less to remember for each player, less hand signals to create, or less to put on a wristband. Whether you do hand signals, whether you do wristbands, may even huddle, whatever. It's just less for the players to remember. Okay, so simple way to start off with this is essentially what I started off with here. So for your outside receivers, short in breaking routes like slants or 5-and-ins. You add a vertical route to it and a deep middle route. So in other words, a post. For your outside receivers, you could add a short outbreaking route for like a speed out. Keep the seam in there. Okay, the seam route. And then a deep outside breaking route, for example, like a corner route for the slot receivers. And for the running back, a flat route, a swing or arrow route, either side, you can signal the direction. A short middle route, which would be something similar to like an angle route or a check down. And then deep outside route. So in other words, a wheel route for the running backs. So those are the things, those are essentially the way I started out instituting my tags. When I started with the tag system, when I started using tags and experimenting with them, I did no tags for running game. I did no tags for the offensive line. I did specifically for the receivers in the passing game. And I used that. And then it expanded it. You can tag in with the offensive line and the running backs, whether, especially when it comes to blocking and helping protection. But mainly I used it for the passing game. And I designated 3 routes for each receiver. Okay. Based on where they were on the field. So if they were in the inside, they obviously are not going to be doing an inside breaking route. So they knew that they would either have a speed out, a corner route, or a seam. And then vice versa for the outside receivers. They would either have that slant or 5-and-in, a vertical route, or they would have a post to take advantage of the middle of the field. So that's how I instituted my tags. That's how I started out. Now, granted, it grew from there. But next thing we're going to talk about is the big question that I always had an issue with is how do I communicate these tags? All right, so now you can see the next slide is very vague because if I was to type this out on a slide, it would be extremely long and I don't feel like reading it. So I'm just going to talk to you. So if you need to go back and replay this to listen to it, I'm going to try and talk slow. It's a lot. It's a lot here. That's why I kept it very, very vague here with the slide itself. So this was the number one issue that I had when I started down this journey of the air raid offense. Is I kept hearing about tags. I kept hearing other different coaches I need to talk about tags. What is it? So I did my research on it, listened, learned, like I'm sure a bunch of you other coaches are doing the same thing. But I still was always hung up. How do I communicate it? How do I add that in? How do I add that into the offense without just completely confusing the players? And there's multiple ways you can do it. There's multiple ways that I did it. And I'm not saying any way is better than the other. I'm not saying that at all. But it's your preference. Obviously, it's your offense, it's your call, and so you design it towards your preference. So one way you can do it: hand signals. Hand signals. When I did, especially when it came to middle school offense, kept the signals really, really, really easy. Right? It was basically for each play, it was three signals. You had a formation, you had a play. If there was a motion, motion was involved, and then lastly there was a tag. If there was a tag, so essentially almost it was just two. Most of the time it was just 2 signals. It was the formation and the play, and then I had wristbands on my hand to designate which side it was going to, red, blue, whatever it might be. So how did I tag a receiver to a certain route? Well, to give you an example, okay, so if I just went from left to right, so if I was in an ace formation, which is 2x2, and I'm going to kind of show you some slides here in a minute. If I was in a 2x2 set, okay, again, if you see my previous videos, you know that I had X outside left, H was the slot on the left, Z was the slot on the right, and then Y was the outside receiver on the right. So if I wanted to tag the X receiver, I would hold up one hand straight up. If I wanted to tag the H, I had two hands straight up. If I wanted to tag the Z, or excuse me, the Y, I had one arm straight out, like sticking out to my side. And if I wanted to tag the Z, this obviously I had both hands straight out, not straight up, but straight out, like sticking straight out, almost like a wingspan. So that's how I did it. So I would add that tag signal, and then for the receiver, then I would add the route. So if I wanted, say for example, I wanted the say we were running the snag concept, the corner concept, to the left. So we had X and H, and then we had the running back running the swing. And I'm gonna kind of diagram this here in a minute. But say for example, I wanted to run, normally that outside receiver would run that slant and sit, or that long stick route part of the snag concept. But if I saw the corner jumping down, dropping down, and that safety kind of shoots over really quick to try and take out that corner route, maybe I would tag that receiver on a quick vertical route and just immediately hit that vertical right behind the corner when he jumps down and try and take away the swing. I would basically give four verts, the four verts signal. Okay, so I'd hold my four fingers up. That would be the signal for four verticals. That gives that receiver. So I would hold up one hand and then hold up the number 4, and that would show that I want that receiver to run a vertical route, because that was a signal for four verts. Okay, if I would give if I wanted the running back to run a wheel, I would, I didn't talk about the running back signal. The running back typically I would do is just pat my back, the running back. Okay, so that was just, so I pat my back, and if I wanted to do a wheel, I just give the sign like a race car, wheel route, and that would tell him that he's going to run the wheel. And you can give a signal as far as east or west, or you can stay with the concept. There's multiple ways you can do that, but that's something that I would do. So I would do hand signals. So if I wanted to do wristbands, and I've done wristbands before too. I've done it a couple ways where I had all the plays, all the concepts. I had one of those wristbands where you had the Velcro, so you had plays on the outside and the inside. And I tried to keep all the concepts, on one side, and then on the inside would be a running game, and then one section would be the tag. So I'd have like 3 panels there, and try and give all the skill players, wristbands. If you have enough wristbands, give all the players, including the lineman, wristbands, so they can and then you just would write down their responsibilities on those wristbands for the line. They would just look down at it. However, wristbands, and that's a lot of week to week adding stuff and taking stuff out. It's a lot of work. So what I did, instead of putting all the concepts and all the plays and all the responsibilities on the wristband, I still used hand signals. But then what I did is I put the tags on the wristbands, and typically those were just meant for the skill guys. So I would have the tags there, and I would, color code it. I would code it with numbers and colors, but essentially, I could yell out, yellow blue or yellow red or yellow 5 or whatever it might be, and that could, they would look down, and maybe that wasn't for the wide receiver. He couldn't see that, or he would say, okay, I'm not yellow, because as you can see in my in my diagrams that I have colors for the receivers, I could call out and say, just, for X is typically blue, I could say blue 5, and that would tell him, oh, I got a post route. That gives me a post. Okay, and you can do that way, and they can just look down. Okay, now I got a post. So that's ways that I would communicate the tags. You can do it through hand signals. You can do it through wristbands. There's multiple ways you can do it if you want. If you still huddle up, you can just run the play in with the tag with the player. Okay, there's multiple ways you can do it. That was my number one issue in trying to figure out how to communicate the tags to my players. And I wanted to go as fast as I could with no huddle, so I essentially instituted it into my signal system. Okay, again, try to keep the signals as as short as possible, as simple as possible, so the players can understand it. But I also institute just the tags on the wristbands themselves. So I would signal in the play and then yell out a tag if I wanted a tag for the wristband. Sometimes, if you are facing uh smart defensive coordinators and they see you just all of a sudden just they make the connection. Oh, every time he yells that number, that's a tag or something like this and that. You could also institute fake tags in there where you call out and there's nothing there. They look down, nope, stay the same. Okay. Just to kind of give an idea to, if any kind of defensive coordinator is savvy and trying to pick things up, pick your signals up and things like that, you can do that as well. So there's a lot you can do. I understand it's a huge rabbit hole to go down. However, tags are very, very beneficial. Again, I'm going to emphasize enough. I cannot emphasize enough to be careful at how many you add, because it does change play. It does create a new play. So here's a quick example of a tag we could possibly put in here. This is a 3x1, so this is our early formation here. As you can see, we're running the corner concept or the snag concept right here. So if we see something like this where this is how they roll a zone, or this is how they're going to play this kind of a formation where corner is going to shoot out at the flats here, take away this short area. He's going to essentially play that cover two, that deep half over there. This linebacker is going to kind of sit right here in the middle here. That essentially what we can do is we say, okay, we see that the hole that we see is right in this area of the field right here, because he's going to come out of that deep half. He's going to shoot the flats. It's going to create that hole right there. He's going to stay in the middle portion of the field. So what we could do is then tag Y on a post here, right in the middle of the field here, as opposed to his slant and say he's going to take a post, hard 5-7 steps, cut it inside, and just run to this opening right here. And essentially what the quarterback is going to look for is he's going to look for this hole right here in this space right here. Okay, so that's what we would tag a Y. Now that doesn't mean that. See, the thing is though, when you tag it, a lot of times coach confused. Well, if you tag, that means automatically quarterback is going to throw to that route. You can, you can make that rule. You can have that rule, or you can still follow the concept and just know that hopefully the quarterback knows and makes the quarterback understand that, hey, we just tagged this route. Instead of a slant and sit in the corner concept, he's going to be running to the space a little bit deeper, and he just needs to know where his openings are and just look for grass. Again, quarterback should be looking for grass to begin with. So if he sees a friendly player in that open grass, give him the ball. Give him the ball. He still reads his progression here. That corner sits, he looks at that corner. Look at that safety. Where is that safety at pre-snap? Is he outside the hashes? That if he's outside the hash again on the rules here with the corner we talked about way before, that corner route is a little bit dangerous. So he's going to look back into here. That linebacker sits right there. There's that hole in the space right there. We've tagged a post to it because we know that the safety's going to shoot over to that second that deep half like that, especially where his pre-snap alignment is. So we know that we have that hole right there. You can take advantage of it right there as well, since that corner is going to take away the flats. So that's just a simple little tag right there that we can use that I've used before in the past. That's come to benefit, and then that's as simple as that. But again, as you can see, it does change the play a little bit. It does essentially create a new play. There's no name for this play. It's just the tag. We just tagged a Y on a post as opposed to the slant and sit, because we want to take advantage of that little hole in the defense based on where they are rolling to in their zone. All right, so as you can see here, I'm going to show you a little quick, easy little screen tag that we put in here. As you can see, we're still staying at 3x1 here. We are essentially going to run our now screen to the right here. This is what we call Randy. It's not the same as tunnel. As you can see, I'm not releasing alignment. This is just a quick now screen just based on alignment here. So if we run this and we see all three, if we run this enough, because when I was calling plays, especially for middle school too, we ran a lot of screens. Screens are easy to teach, easy to execute, and they are, in my opinion, high reward, especially in middle school. So ran a lot of screens. Eventually, once you run enough screens, the defense recognizes, they make a mad dash to try and cut the screen off as best they can and try and overload the blocking. So, if you can essentially see what kind of tag I'm going to put here. So what we would do is we would tag essentially Z, or we can even do H, but typically we would do the Z, the middle receiver here. Tag him on a block here. He's going to show hands, and then he's going to immediately shoot off right here. So he's going to come here and show hands because he's responsible for this corner. Going to show hands real quick, like he's getting ready to block. I mean, he's going to still do his flat for 5, and he's going to shoot off and hit off the wheel. So essentially what this would be, tag here, throw, quarterback's going to show his shoulders. He's going to turn his shoulders square off like he's throwing the Y. Essentially, we would give like a little shoulder hitch right here, get a little hitch. So because defenders here are going to look at the quarterback, so if they see him turn, they're immediately going to make their move here. He's going to shoulder hitch here, and then he's going to square up, and he's going to put the ball out in the space right here. And Z, again, like I said, he's got to sell his block. He can't just run. If he runs immediately out this way, doesn't sell it, this corner then just runs with him. If the safety watches and is responsible to him, he's going to run with him right here, and it doesn't work. So receiver and quarterback got to sell it. So the tag would be just, we could the I talked about before, still give the vert signal. So we could signal to the Z receiver, then give him the vert signal so he know that we are running Randy. So he's got to show hands here. And this is a tag that we work on a lot in practice because this is a very vital one because of the amount of screens we threw. So we see this, he's going to show hands. He knows he needs to show hands, and then he's going to immediately shoot off on the vertical. All right, everybody, this was the conclusion to episode 16. This is covering tags again. Again, tags was the biggest issue for me starting off with this offense, just understanding how to institute them, how to teach them. I hope this video helped at least a little bit. Again, this is based on what I did, how I did it, how I instituted it. I know there's a lot to cover, so if you need to go, please rewatch it and try and understand my way of thinking as best you can. Again, this is, like I said, this is based solely off what I've done, what I did, and my way of thinking. Please do your own thing. Don't just listen to me. Listen to a bunch of other coaches. There's a bunch of coaches that are smarter than me out there. So give them a look as well. But if you like this stuff, again, like I said, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.